Hello everyone, it's Darkseeker here again. Welcome back for another video. Today we are playing SinisterMe's Recruit Warrior. So in this deck, you've got a load of big threats, and the idea is to cheat them out onto the board. Gather Your Party helps you do that. And that is the spell rather, that I'm familiar with from previous iterations of Recruit Warrior that I've played in the past. But this deck has been updated to take into account the Scholarmancer Academy expansion and the Darkmoon Faire expansion. So Commencement, which costs 7, comes from Scholarmancer Academy. Summon a minion from your deck. Give it Taunt and Divine Shield. The Divine Shield bit I think is especially pertinent. Taunt, excellent if you're dealing with an aggressive opponent that's gone wide on the board, aggro druid in particular, which is everywhere at the moment. So I like Commencement. There is some cheaper spells in this deck from Scholarmance and Darkmoon Faire, which I think add excellent value to the deck. So let's start at the top. Athletic Studies. 1 cost spell, discover a rush minion. Your next one costs 1 less. If you can get a cheap rush minion discovered and you can then play it, that just helps you survive a little bit longer against aggro, buying you time to then bring out your big threats. You've also got Information, which is a 2 cost spell. Add 2 random taunt minions to your hand. In an aggressive meta, particularly if you're facing lots of aggro druids, like I am, Information sounds very, very sensible. Minefield from Darkmoon Faire, 5 damage, randomly split amongst all minions, costing 2. Again, very good against aggressive decks. And then you've got the usual clears like Blade Storm, you've got Double Brawl in the deck. I love the inclusion of Sphere of Sapience, just helping you to essentially dig for the right cards. Or discard cards, rather, that you feel are not relevant for that particular turn. So I like that. So we're going to look at one game, and it's against a Shaman. So if I'm facing a Shaman on the ladder, what am I thinking? I'm thinking it'll be an even deck. And it's not. How interesting. Now you notice that I kept a copy of Blade Storm. I'm thinking that if it's an even Shaman, and they play a 4-mana 7/7, or a thing from below, something big on a given turn, I can clear it. Alternatively, if it's a Totem Shaman, that's a possibility. I think Blade Storm works very well against the totems as well, if there's a wide board full of totems. Ooh, Tar Creeper. Now that's a blast from the past. Not seen that for a while. Interesting. Very, very interesting.
I will show you fear.
And I think that Sandbinder, well, it tells us everything we need to know. This looks like a Shudderwock deck. And now my curiosity is at an all-time high. How will this deck fare against a Shudderwock deck? If we could cheat out those big threats really early, can we just out-pressure them and kill them? If the Shudderwock comes down and the lower third battle cry is in the pool, are we just screwed? Because then we can't brawl. We won't be able to play Commencement or Gather Your Party or anything like that to get a board presence going. Okay. I think this is fine. No Commencement, no Gather Your Party, and meanwhile we're drawing into our threats. This is frustrating. Thinking about Troublemaker, but it will be dependent on what he plays. Deathwing may end up being a better option. Oh, here we go. Evolve? Okay. Huh. That's frustrating, that board. That's a challenging board to deal with. Oh my god. So we've had to waste a brawl and a commencement there. That feels quite bad. Because I assume he'll play Doppelgangster again at some point. I assume he has 2 copies, surely. He's not a Reno deck.
If power is what you seek,
Oh wow.
knowledge is what I provide.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, things just got serious. That has to be one of my favourite entrances of a card in Hearthstone.
Mind if I roll knee?
Definitely a Shudderwock deck. Definitely a Shudderwock deck. If he's got this kind of a playstyle going. Finally, there's commencement.
My school now.
However, I think this is better.
You gonna cry?
We just need to remember to play commencement before we draw all of our threats. And that's another entrance that I love. Rattlegore. The annoying thing about commencement and gather your party is that they summon a minion from the deck or recruit a minion from the deck. I wish they'd just bring copies out from the deck and keep the original minion in the deck. It gives you a bit more staying power. I can sense that the end is near here. He's played Grumble. That means the Shudderwock will not be far behind. We need to end this game.
You're in my school now.
Cry, baby! You gonna cry?
Right, we've got him down to 12. Oh wow, there it is! Perhaps a bit early? Did he feel forced to do this because of the board? Now, he did not get a lower Theb battle cry into the pool, but it may not matter. It really may not matter in the grand scheme of things. So Grumble is bringing the Shudderwocks back to hand. He's going to have an unlimited supply of cheap Shudderwocks.
My jaws that bite, my claws that catch,
But he may not be able to get any of them to stick.
my claws that catch.
Bar one Shudderwock on the board. Maybe. I wonder if it depends on the order of the animations. Wow, okay, so that's the turn over. What can we do here? Do we just try and clear that and push face? Or do we just develop a big threat? I think this is better. Put him to 3. put him to 3. Here we go again.
My claws that catch. My jaws that bite. My claws that
Now the real interesting thing here is going to be Rattlegore.
that bite. My claws that catch.
We need to keep our eye on, Rattlegore here, because the Sandstorm Elemental AoE is going off, and Rattlegore is absorbing the damage. The question will be, once the dust settles, will Rattlegore still be on the board? I think the answer will be yes. It will have reduced in stats.
That bite. My claws that catch.
But the real question is, can we attack with it? Will we be able to push face? That's the question.
My jaws that bite. My claws that catch.
Okay, he's a 7/7 now. This is quite thrilling.
My jaws that bite.
Oh wow.
My claws that catch.
This is going to go on for a while.
Jaws that bite. My claws that catch.
But there is something really mesmerizing about this. Really hypnotic about watching this transpire before us. You can't take your eyes off it. You know it's going to take a long time, but you can't help but keep watching.
My jaws that bite. My claws that catch. My jaws that bite.
And here we go again. Anyway, while we're waiting, let's have a chat. How's everyone doing out there? I hope you're all staying safe. I hope you're all keeping well. Lockdown here in the UK has just recently ended. And we've gone into this tier system of restrictions in different areas. And I think the hope is that we can all have Christmas and everybody can see their families and see their friends. But I have a feeling that it's going to mean that come January here in the UK, we'll probably go back onto another lockdown again.
My jaws that bite.
There is a vaccine on the horizon. Different vaccines, actually. But I do know there's some resistance within the public sphere. Some people are not keen on the vaccine. They are concerned that it's not being tested thoroughly enough. But it looks like the vaccine is going to be critical in order for things to go back to some kind of normality again. So we shall see what happens.
My jaws that bite. My claws that catch.
And in the UK, we also have Brexit on the horizon. I'm sure some of you watching this will be Europeans. You'll be living in EU member states, and you'll be watching what is transpiring with Brexit and probably just shaking your heads in disbelief. And believe me, there's lots of us here in the UK who are also shaking our heads with a disbelief as we watch Brexit transpire in front of us.
My claws that catch.
Not looking forward to January, and not looking forward to the chaos that Brexit is going to cause. I work in a sector that is certainly going to be impacted by Brexit, and the lack of clarity from our government is just shocking at this point in time. We're so close to, you know, this transition deadline before we fully leave the EU, and the lack of clarity is just insane.
My claws that catch.
If you don't work in a sector or an industry that's affected by Brexit, you could probably sit back and think to yourself, it's fine. We can trade under WTO terms and everything's going to be good and great. but I can't help but feel that there is a bit of detail missing there. If you work in a sector that is impacted, you could see that it's not positive at all. And there are lots of sectors impacted by it. So anyway, we shall see what the future holds for Brexit. And oh look, Rattlegore is alive. It's got 3 attack. It's not frozen. And that was a beautiful win. A beautiful, beautiful win. Okay, so SinisterMe's Recruit Warrior. We were able to outlast the Shudderwock Shaman, and that was all down to one card, Rattlegore. What a beautiful card. That game has made Rattlegore now one of my top favourite cards in Hearthstone. Not just for its loud entrance onto the board, which I absolutely love, but its ability to be very sticky and to hang around on that board forevermore, essentially. So this was the first game that I played with the deck. If you guys have any questions about the deck, please leave them in the comments section below, and I'll try and get SinisterMe to monitor those comments and to respond to your questions. He is the deck expert, the deck author. This video felt very cathartic. As we were waiting for the Shudderwock animations to finish, I was able to rant for a bit about COVID and particularly about Brexit. Yeah, that was a good use of time. So thank you for listening. I feel a lot better now. For those of you that are interested in my thoughts on different things, there is a playlist on my channel. It's playlist number 70, specifically, Get to Know Darkseeker. And there were 3 videos that I published, usually featuring decks that would produce incredibly lengthy games, typically Shudderwock decks. So you would just watch the animations go through, and whilst the animations were taking forever to proceed, I would just talk about me, and I would talk about what interests me, I'd talk about what makes me tick. So if you are interested in knowing more about me, check out the Get to Know Darkseeker playlist, which you can find on my channel. So anyway, thank you very much for joining me, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you to SinisterMe for the deck. It's been a lot of fun to play. And I'll see you all again very soon, as always, for more Wild Mode fun.